New details emerging today about a teenager in foster care who committed suicide live on Facebook.
In the era of social media, where every moment can be broadcast to the world in real time, a dark trend has emerged where the power to share has at times intertwined with the powers of death, leading to countless final moments getting captured on live stream. So here are 10 people who tragically lost their lives while on Facebook Live. Helen Nyabuto. This is Helen Wendy Nyabuto, casually taking a swim while streaming on Facebook Live. But within minutes, this lighthearted broadcast turned very dark as Helen ventured into the deep end of the pool and drowned. 23-year-old Helen Nyabuto was a Kenyan health worker living in Toronto. She moved to Canada in 2018, working in a long-term care residence outside of Toronto. She was living in Canada, sending money back home to take care of her family. Now, on the day of the incident, Nyabuto, known as Helen Wendy on social media, started a Facebook live stream where she can be seen smiling, swimming, and interacting with viewers from the shallow end of the pool. About 3 minutes in, Helen moves to the far end of the pool, where she appears to begin struggling frantically. She then moves out of the frame altogether, but can still be heard calling for help. And after some time, everything goes eerily still on the live stream. The feed continues to capture the quiet, empty pool for several hours before the motel residents are seen getting into the pool. The same residents can be heard discovering Nyabuto's body and calling the front desk to report it. It was at this point that Nyabuto was confirmed dead. She'd been vacationing at that hotel for about 2 weeks. The family was destroyed when they heard the news, and to make matters worse, they didn't have any money to send the body back home. To their luck, though, a GoFundMe set up by her brother surpassed the 50,000 Canadian dollar target, hitting well over 60,000. Yet, to be honest, no amount of money could ever replace the void left in their hearts. Levante White. That was the moment Levante White and his aunt's boyfriend got shot at while riding in a car in Chicago. Around 1:30 p.m. on Valentine's Day in 2017, Levante White, his aunt, 21-year-old Brianna Devante, who was 4 months pregnant at the time, and her boyfriend, 26-year-old Lazarus Collins, were riding around the 2300 block of South Kenneth Avenue, Chicago, Illinois. And during the ride, Levante's aunt, who was driving, started using Facebook Live, streaming to everybody while singing and driving, capturing images of Levante sitting in the back. But while she was streaming, a blue Chevy Spark pulled alongside their vehicle with about 4 individuals inside. 2 of them can be seen firing at the vehicle, prompting his aunt to park the car and jump out. Collins was shot 5 times in his abdomen, back, and legs, while Levante was shot once at close range, with a bullet hitting the back of his neck and exiting through his cheek. Both were eventually confirmed dead at the hospital. Although his aunt was shot in the stomach, by some miracle she and her unborn child survived. Their family couldn't understand why they were the targets of this attack, until one man was captured. 26-year-old Yvonne Swan was arrested and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of attempted murder. And according to Swan's story, Collins was the intended target of the shooting, which stemmed from a dispute between Collins and a group of individuals. Rumors suggested the dispute had something to do with shady dealings of the Chicago crime underworld, because Devon Swan was a real hitter. This guy had a criminal history of armed robbery, illegal gun charges, and narcotics possession. They let him out on parole just a year before the shooting. And to portray how much of a buffoon he was, the car he used by him and his friends to carry out the shooting belonged to his girlfriend, whom he dropped off at work 1 hour before that shooting. He would go around bragging to many people about that same shooting, and that it was a retaliation for the shooting of his friend believed to have been killed by Collins. I mean, it's either this guy was really dumb or straight up looking for a way to go back to prison. But either way, 2 of the people who were in the car with him, Daniel Harris and Jeremy Ellis, were also arrested and hit with similar charges. Now all 3 have been convicted and serving time for transforming a day of love into a day of sorrow. Jeremiah Dickey.
Out of Brooklyn, where police are searching for the person who shot a teenager in the head, leaving the young man to die.
You were telling us just a few moments ago that the victim was actually on Facebook Live at the time of the shooting, that gunshots could be heard in the background.
6:45 p.m., February 4th, 2020. NYPD respond to 911 calls about a male African-American getting shot at Elton Street and New Lots Avenue in Brooklyn, NYC. By the time he got there, they found 19-year-old Jeremiah Dickey on the ground with a gunshot wound to his head, unconscious and unresponsive. So what exactly happened to Dickey? Well, according to his mom, he was a loving kid with a good heart, always doing things for others. He loved rap music and maybe wanted to become a rapper himself. However, that dream, or any other dream, was cut real short after he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. On the day of the incident, Jeremiah went live on Facebook, rapping the song 30 by Brooklyn rapper Blizzy Blanks while he sat inside his car. After about 35 seconds of rapping, he stuck his head out the window, and as he did, 5 shots rang out, leading to him dropping his phone and the screen going blank. Alarmed at what happened, viewers expressed their fears before it was cut off. And the crazy thing here is Dickey was merely a couple blocks away from his home. On top of that, residents within the area were oblivious to the gunshots that had been fired, probably due to how fast the shooter or shooters fled the scene. One neighbor with a store nearby told the cops that he actually thought the sound was a firecracker or some random people playing around, not knowing Jeremiah, who just lived down the road from his store, was the one getting shot. And was he really the target? Well, we don't know. Nobody does. And judging by the fact that this incident happened over 4 years ago, might as well be closed at this point. This video has been taken down from Facebook. Kiana Herndon. December 28th, 2016, 26-year-old mother of 2 from Camden, Arkansas, Kiana Herndon, started her Facebook Live broadcast by singing to her viewers. She can be seen holding her 1-year-old son, Riley, and talking about how she wanted to return to school. But suddenly her demeanor changed. Her breathing began to be labored, and she rubbed her eyes as she began to shake.
Wiping her face, just kept wiping her face, just kept shaking her head. And I was like, we called her Key. I said, what's wrong with Key?
A family member at home at the time was wondering what was happening, but really didn't take it seriously until she fell back and stopped moving. Her son Riley then picked up the phone, which had dropped from Kiana's arms, and started playing with it. At this time, reports say Kiana was still grasping for breath, and maybe, just maybe, if someone had come to check out what was really going on with her, she would have survived. After fighting for her life with her son sitting on her lap, Kiana fell to the ground, while her audience, growing by the second, was stunned at what was happening. No one knew if she was dead or alive, but all doubts were cleared after someone called 911, and first responders arrived, transporting her to the hospital. Unfortunately, she was confirmed dead hours later. Due to the circumstances surrounding her death, her story went viral on Facebook, with some speculating she probably had some underlying heart problems. However, this was absolutely incorrect. The truth was she had a serious thyroid problem, and in the weeks before her death, she was also diagnosed with cancer. That brought her a lot of pain, leading her to use Facebook to escape from reality. She had suffered from similar attacks before the death. According to her uncle, Kiana once described the pain as if her heart was about to jump out of her chest. That description's pretty painful, and for some reason, this same uncle also blamed her Facebook friends for her death. He claimed they shouldn't have just sat there watching her suffer in front of her crying baby. He thinks someone should have called for help sooner. Now, we're not here to pick sides, but do you genuinely believe that someone on Facebook should have called sooner? Or how about her own family, who was in the same house while all this was going on? Philando Castile.
Don't reach for it, son. Don't pull it out. Don't pull it out.
He just shot his arm off. We got pulled over on Larpener.
Told him not to reach for it. I told him to get his hand out.
You told him to get his ID, sir, and his driver's license. Oh my God, please don't tell me he's dead.
That was the moment Diamond Reynolds got out her phone and went on Facebook Live, showing her bloody boyfriend, Philando Castile, a school cafeteria supervisor, after having been shot multiple times by a policeman. July 6th, 2016, Castile and Reynolds were traveling on a busy street near the Minnesota State Fairgrounds when they were flashed by a cop car to pull over. Once they did, the officer, Yanez, walks up to their vehicle, meeting Miss Reynolds seated in the front front passenger seat, and her 4-year-old young daughter in the back. Now, although it wasn't heard on the video, the officer silently radioed to a colleague that he thought Mr. Castile matched the description of a robbery suspect from a few days earlier. Now, Mr. Castile is waiting patiently while Yanez is waiting for his backup. But once the second cop arrives, that's when the real mayhem begins. Yanez walked up to Castile's window and told him that his brake light was broken. He then asked proof of insurance and a driver's license, to which Mr. Castile responded politely, handing his insurance through the window. Mr. Castile, who had a permit to carry a gun, informed the officer that he had one with him, to which Officer Yanez explicitly informed him not to pull it out. As he tried reassuring the officer that he wasn't pulling out the gun, Yanez fired 7 shots at Castile, leaving him a bloody mess. In the minutes after the shooting, Yanez kept his gun pointed towards the car as he called for backup and an ambulance, while Diamond started live streaming to an audience on Facebook, explaining what had just happened. Yanez, already emotional about what just happened, kept explaining that he informed Mr. Castile not to reach for the gun. He told Miss Reynolds to keep her hands where he could see him as she continued the broadcast.
He had a firearm and he was reaching for his wallet, and the officer just shot him in his arm. We're waiting for that. I will, sir. No worries. He just shot his arm off. We got pulled over on Larpenter.
I told him not to reach for it. I told him to get his hand open.
You told him to get his ID, sir, and his driver's license. Oh my God, please don't tell me he's dead. Please don't tell me my boyfriend just went like that.
Keep your hands where they are, please.
Yes, I will.
As the video kept rolling, she was subsequently handcuffed and placed into the back of the squad car along with her daughter. In the aftermath, the case sparked widespread outrage, with people tagging it as yet another instance of police brutality. And then it got worse when Officer Yanez was acquitted of the murder. It's probably hard to believe, but yeah, he wasn't found guilty, and there's a reason for it. You see, his dashcam video didn't show clips that might have been essential for the jurors to consider. Clips like the full view of the front seat of Mr. Castile's car, which would have shown his hands and what he was reaching for just before the shooting. Yanez claimed that Castile was reaching for his gun, and his lawyers made that a central point in his defense. And while he was charged with 3 felonies, including second-degree manslaughter, Yanez made it clear to the jury that he feared for his life. Hence, he fired his gun. In contrast to that, Miss Reynolds said Castile was simply reaching for his license. And since she started that stream after the fact, no footage could resolve it. Terrell Smith.
Halation Devin Terrell Smith was on his Facebook Live talking to the camera. He was in a heated exchange with someone who was making comments as he was going live. Minutes later, someone drove right up to his house in Ypsilanti. More than 30 shots were fired.
June 28, 2022. Terrell Smith was shot dead during an argument on Facebook Live. Unlike the other ones, his death had some links to the live stream he was hosting. 46-year-old Smith, living out of Michigan's Ypsilanti Township, was known as a friend for the food he made and often gave away. He was known for his love and support of the people of the town and his lively, brutally honest Facebook Live appearances. It's safe to say he was a Facebook celebrity, with hundreds of people tuning into his broadcasts to connect with his vibrant personality and candid insights. However, on the day of the incident, one person in particular couldn't tolerate Terrell's edgy jokes. Terrell continuously made fun of this person, telling him via broadcast that moving out of Ypsilanti wouldn't make him better. The guy took offense to it, claiming to be riding around with 60 shots and making threats at Terrell. Terrell played him off, claiming he didn't care if he had 100 shots on him, while a car with 3 men would pull up to Terrell's home and 30 shots were fired, causing him serious injury. And here's the thing, despite the ridiculous amount of shots he was riddled with, Terrell didn't die immediately. He kept fighting for his life until neighbors called paramedics and he was taken to the hospital. However, after some hours in ER, he succumbed to the gruesome injuries sustained. Deputies collected 4 9mm shells, 6 5.7 caliber shells, and 19 7.62 caliber rifle cartridges scattered around the floor of Smith's home. Investigators found the doorbell cam that recorded the shooting, later identifying 3 vehicles owned by the shooters. After reviewing video and checking traffic cameras around the area, a lot of arrests were made, but 3 main people pled guilty to the charges: Sharif Bonner, Tyree Pitts, and Corey and Joseph Brown. After pleading guilty, all 3 accepted a plea deal. Naika Venet.
In late January, 14-year-old Naika Venet, his foster care at the time, took to Facebook Live for 3 hours before So,
For much of her short life, Naika Bennett bounced between two parents. A birth mother who would beat her without pity, leave her in bed with her boyfriends who watched porn movies, and eventually abandon her, and the state of Florida, which repeatedly returned Naika to a mother who showed little interest in changing her ways. All she ever wanted was to be with her mom, Gina Alexis. Time and time again, she sought love from her, who reportedly responded with fists and a belt. And when she realized she was never going to get that love, she put an end to her quest in a shower stall at her last foster home, where she hanged herself with a scarf. Desiring her final moments to be as public as possible, Naika streamed her last act on Facebook Live, with hundreds watching. But how exactly did she get to this point? When Naika had just turned 4 years old, the Department of Children and Families, DCF, was called to her mother's home. Naika had been left with a male babysitter, who in turn left her unattended with no food and water. The DCF wouldn't act on this, and just a year later, Naika was left again unattended, leading to her getting admitted into the hospital with an undisclosed chronic health condition. At this point, the DCF called in the mother, Alexis, after Naika informed them that she had called her a liar and a faker, even making threats against her life. They offered daycare for Naika, but Alexis refused any services. In January 2009, Alexis beat Naika with a belt after finding out her daughter had become sexually active with another child. She beat Naika so bad that the girl had more than 30 marks on her arms, legs, and back. The DCF was then forced to remove her from her mother's care, and the girl would begin the first of 3 episodes in foster care, where workers kept wondering where the heck Naika had learned about sex. In therapy, she disclosed that she slept in the same room as her mother's boyfriends, and that she had watched what she'd called sex movies. And even though Naika had told authorities her mother continued to beat her during unsupervised visits in foster care, she was still returned to Alexis 17 months later. Now, a month after Naika had returned to her mom in July 2010, the DCF received another report saying that she had been sexually abused while in foster care. The other child vehemently denied it, insisting that Naika was the aggressive one, and that he repeatedly told her to get out of his room. The DCF would turn this case cold, but Naika had come back under their radar when she reported that her mother was maltreating her. She was then taken to another foster care, which became some sort of a routine between the DCF, Alexis, and Naika for years. The tipping point was in April 2016, when Naika had changed homes 14 times in a span of about 9 months, most of which came out of behavioral disruptions. Now, the constant movements made it extremely difficult for mental health professionals to offer any kind of meaningful care for, and in November of said year, these same professionals recommended that Naika live in what's called a specialized therapeutic foster home, where she could receive the kind of intensive care she needed, but there was no bed space available, meaning Naika ping-ponged yet again from one foster care to the other until she couldn't take it anymore. January 22nd, 2017, Naika spent nearly 3 hours broadcasting on Facebook Live in the bathroom of her foster parents' home as she contemplated whether or not to end life. Many watching the stream pleaded with her not to kill herself, while some others triggered her, calling the situation fate. On top of this, reports say her mother was also watching the stream for 2 hours, and even left a message that must have crippled Naika's mental health at that dying moment even more. The report claims that Gina Alexis wrote, #ADHD games played. You sad little DCF custody jit. That's why you where you at for this dumb shit and more. You keep crying wolf, you dead, you'll get buried. Life goes on after a jit that doesn't listen to their parents, trying to be grown, seeking boys and girls' attention instead of books. I mean, what mother would write something like this? We certainly don't know. Whatever her intention was, Naika took her own life, hanging herself in the bathroom with a scarf. Antonio Perkins. Rule number 1. If you have enemies, never reveal your location. Broadcasting on Facebook Live can make a hitman's job a lot easier, and ignoring this simple rule can have deadly consequences. Around 8:45 p.m. May 29th, 2019, 28-year-old Perkins, aka Cicero Yayo, started a live stream at around the 1600 block of South Drake Ave in Chicago. The video shows him recording himself and talking before somebody out of nowhere opens fire on him. Perkins tried running away, but at least 6 shots were heard. and his phone appeared to tumble through the bloody grass before going black. Voices were heard screaming for emergency services to be called. In the aftermath, he was taken to Mount Sinai Hospital, where he was pronounced dead at 9:07 p.m. Paramedics discovered that he was shot in the neck and head about 6 minutes into the live stream, but what they couldn't decipher was why Perkins was the target of this shooting. According to The Street, Perkins had numerous arrests and convictions and was documented as a gang member in Chicago. However, he was looking to put that life behind him by getting a proper job and taking care of his 3 kids. So maybe his murder was linked to his bad days. Maybe he really never left. But the one troubling thing the family was going through was that Facebook didn't take the video down. Oh, it's still up there, guys, with a graphic warning message. When BBC asked a spokeswoman for Facebook, she said that the video didn't violate any company policy. Perkins' initial Facebook Live broadcast was shared more than 1 million times, while a copy of the video has been shared more than 645,000 times, amplifying the family's grief and raising serious concerns about the role of social media in these types of tragedies. Roosevelt Rankins. Now, just like almost every case we've gone over so far, Rankins is yet another to lose his life on live stream, but this one comes with a little twist. 34-year-old Rankins was a resident of Montgomery, Alabama, known to his friends and family as kind and sociable. He frequently used social media to stay connected with his loved ones and share moments from his life. Little did anyone know that his online presence would one day capture his final moments. January 23, 2020, Rankins was live streaming on Facebook from Stella Street in Montgomery. During that stream, a man crept into his home through the window and started shooting. The horrifying incident was broadcasted in real time, with many watching in shock and disbelief as he fell to the ground, lifeless. The live stream abruptly ended, leaving everybody stunned and desperate for answers. Now, following the shooting, Montgomery police were quickly called. Authorities confirmed that the live stream was connected to the incident on Stella Street. The brutal nature of this broadcast hit the community hard, especially because Rankins was a father with 5 good kids. I mean, who's gonna take care of these kids now? In the months following the incident, police conducted a thorough investigation trying to track down the perp, and around 7 months later, they would make a significant breakthrough. 19-year-old Bakari Taylor was arrested by U.S. Marshals, Gulf Coast Regional Fugitive Task Force, and was charged with Roosevelt's murder. Reports say Taylor had a confrontation with Rankins before Rankins went live, making him come back and carry out that fatal shooting. And being that Rankins was literally that neighborhood good guy, his death had a huge impact in the community. Friends and family mourned the loss. But the good thing here is they made a communal effort to make sure that his kids still had a good education. Juan Jamalan, November 5th, 2023. Filipino radio host Juan Jamalan, known on air as Johnny Walker, was tragically shot during his live broadcast from his home in Calamba, Misamis Occidental. Johnny Walker here was a well-loved personality on 94.7 Gold Mega Calamba FM. While streaming on Facebook Live, 2 men approached his home, ostensibly to make a public announcement. One drew a .45 caliber pistol and shot Jamalan twice, one in the lower lip and again in the back of the head. As viewers watched in horror, the attack, which was also captured on CCTV, shocked everybody as this abruptly turned from lively music to a deadly scene. The assailants, accompanied by a third accomplice on a motorcycle, stole Jamalan's necklace before fleeing the scene, and despite being rushed to the hospital, he was pronounced dead a few hours later. Now here's the thing. Being that the entire ordeal was caught live on camera, the police got composite sketches of the suspects and were able to establish a motive. Jamalan had recently won a court case related to a land dispute where his radio station was located, which his widow believes may have been the motive. Of course, being the public figure he was, his murder drew widespread condemnation. Even the president of the Philippines, Bongbong Marcos, vowed swift justice, emphasizing that attacks on journalists wouldn't be tolerated in his country. All sorts of media and human rights groups would echo this sentiment. Sadly, his death is one of many that just happened to get caught in real time.
55-year-old Prentice Robinson is seen here in a Facebook Live video he posted this morning. In it, he's complaining about a family member stealing a cell phone from him. He stops at the Wingate Police Department and tells the chief about it while live on Facebook, then walks away up the hill toward his home on Booker Street. There are brief words with another man, then gunfire. The police chief was at a loss for words. That had happened moments after the man left him right behind his office.
I just spoke to him. It's so, I don't know, it's hard to say anything about that. Just got through talking to him.
Robinson was found face down in the street. A man in jeans and dark-colored windbreaker who shot him has so far eluded police, who blocked local roads during the manhunt and caused a lockdown at Wingate University across the street. Charles Baker knew Robinson for more than 30 years. That someone could do this is unbelievable.
That's just unreal for somebody to have that kind of heart to just walk out in the open like that and kill a man like that. That's just nonsense.
Neighbors say everyone here knew Robinson and always saw him walking in the community. Ethel Sanders came home this morning to find police everywhere.
I saw crime tape, detectives parking the yard, police cars parking the yard.
Murder streamed online for all to see. An argument on Facebook Live goes from heated to deadly.
And we begin in Ypsilanti, where that deadly shooting captured on Facebook Live has left the community stunned. The victim had become somewhat of a local celebrity because of those live feeds.
Yesterday, that all came to an abrupt and tragic end. Sean Lay live with this story tonight with more on what escalated all this. Sean.
Let's talk about that escalation, Devin. Terrell Smith was on his Facebook Live talking to the camera. He was in a heated exchange with someone who was making comments as he was going live. Minutes later, someone drove right up to his house in Ypsilanti. More than 30 shots were fired. Facebook flooded with sadness, heartache, and tributes today for this man, Terrell Smith of Ypsilanti, a local Facebook celebrity. Smith was also known for his brutally honest Facebook Live appearances called Rel's Corner. Tuesday, Smith took to Facebook Live for another edition, at first expressing his loyalty to Ypsilanti.
What make y'all think because y'all moved that y'all better than Ipsy? Y'all ain't better than Ipsy, y'all product of Ipsy.
Then Smith exchanging words with someone who was commenting on his Facebook Live and making threats.
Now you on Facebook, I'm riding around with 60 shots. I don't ride around with 100 shots, bro.
Thousands were watching and were horrified by what happened next. Smith sees a car approach and sees someone get out.
Okay, we got action. We got action.
Smith was shot and killed. The shooting is not seen on camera, but we will warn you, just the sound of the gun violence is disturbing enough. We will only play a moment of the 30 rapid-fire shots. A neighbor can be heard frantically calling 911.
Somebody been shot.
The horrifying video seen 37,000 times before Facebook was alerted and took it down. And tonight, Facebook says when awful things like this occur on a Facebook Live, they do try to take it off Facebook as quickly as possible. Again, that video is no longer seen on Facebook. The person firing those shots is still out there tonight. Kimberly Devin.
2020, Ernest Wilson III went on Facebook Live during a game of hide-and-seek at a house party. What he didn't know, however, is that this would be his final moments alive.
Hit the switch, man. Oh, that like, I don't know. Bathroom. She lucky she my man, so she got put out like the last person that threw up in my shit. I had to clean up, throw up in the morning. Higher up in the bathroom, trying to clean up throw up. I'm in the bathroom, y'all. I'm cleaning up throw up. Y'all hide everywhere but here. Hold on. Yeah, I'm cleaning up doors, so I'm ready to go out front.
Are you talking about what's
I'm using the I can only use the line. I got a count out here. How you gonna hide right there? He's so dumb. Little dumbass. You thought I got a count out here, stupid. Go the other way. I'm coming to look for you first, girl. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I can hear y'all. 14, 15. I can see y'all. 16, 17. Don't walk this way because you're going to get caught. 18, 19. Thank you. Go the other way. You're making it too easy. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Because I'm tired of fucking counting. Ready or not, here I come. Lock the door so they can open the door for me. Ain't nobody in the bathroom. I didn't think about it. Fuck, go wild. His ass. I'm leaving everything open. Ain't nowhere to hide. Next time they on your ass. Down here. The front door locked. Dumbass. I'm on your ass. 1, 2, 3. Who the fuck is that, you? I don't know. Get your dumb ass on the other side of this gate. Who the fuck? Dumbass nigga. This can't be one of my friends. Come on, put some else. Hey, Pie! Flash it up! Hey!
As you know, during 2020, the coronavirus pandemic was underway. With the vast majority of the globe in lockdown, Baltimore was no different. But for Ernest, this didn't matter because during weekends, he opted to host house parties at various Airbnbs for a small price. Lockdowns then just meant that more people would attend, rather than going to a bar or club. Charging a small fee, he was able to recoup the money spent on the property hire and pocket a little for himself. After all, he did host the event. So, on April 3rd, 2020, he once again spoke out about hosting a party. Should I do games night again this weekend? We playing hide and seek at game night tonight. I'm having a game night tonight and tomorrow. Hit me up for details. Buy your own bottle cause you ain't drinking all my ish. Girls, free entry. Guys, $5 because I don't F with you like that. With people liking in his Facebook comments saying that they were going to turn up, it looked as if this was going to be a classic Ernest party. A fun time with a huge game of hide and seek. They were all up for it. But it looked as if maybe he had some slight issues with parties in the past. Please don't show up with nobody I didn't personally invite if we didn't discuss it first, because they're going to get left outside. So it looks then that in the past, people may have turned up that Ernest didn't know. He kept his circle relatively small, and in hindsight, his concern was understandable. Although lockdowns had been given the go-ahead, small gatherings were allowed in Baltimore. And so as the evening approached, Ernest went live at 6E West Street in Baltimore to announce that the party was ready to go. That the party was ready to go.
Yo, what up, all like in April, man, your friends. You know that? What I come up here for? Yes. These, bull, stealing. If I catch my room, I'm gonna go fucking ass. And there's people upstairs. Tell that girl she can come, because Ayana said she was in for dinner. Yeah, the playground definitely used to be lit. And then there ain't no lights over there. I'm in my game night. If you want to come, DM me for the Addy. It's 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, because I'm tired of fucking counting. Ready or not, here I come. Like the door, so make the opening door on me. Ain't nobody in the bad from it. I didn't think about fuck. Oh, alright. He's honest. I'm leaving everything open. Ain't nowhere to hide. Next time they on your ass. The front door locked, dumbass. I'm on your ass. 1, 2, 3. Who the fuck is that, G? I don't know. Get your dumb ass on the other side of this gate. Who the fuck? Dumbass. This time.
With the game of hide and seek fully underway, Ernest, as you can see, was in a good mood. However, that wouldn't last too much longer. The man you see scaling the fence, from what we understand at this current time, wasn't known to Ernest, or if he was, he definitely turned up uninvited. From information that's been made public, it's believed that the man, along with another, chased Ernest into the property, announced they were there to rob the place, and let shots off, killing only Ernest before fleeing. A police spokesperson said that at roughly 2:45 AM, they attended said property where they found Ernest lying in a pool of his own blood. Adding they were following leads and tips, but nearly 3 years on, there isn't anything to suggest that anyone has been arrested, let alone charged with his murder. The Facebook live stream did the rounds on a couple of Instagram blog pages, also receiving some small media attention, which is strange given the circumstances. The question remains then, was this a targeted shooting, or two opportunistic criminals that had stumbled across the party? During blurred sections of the live stream, Ernest was captured with an argument of criminals. Some people believe this is why he was targeted, since Ernest individuals decided to rob and shoot him. Relatively speaking, they killed him for maybe a couple of $1,000s at best. The young man's life was taken when he was just trying to have a good time with friends.
These are some of the craziest IG and Facebook live moments of all time. Starting with a dude from Alabama named Chris, who was driving around the city begging to be shot at since he wanted to see what hood stands on the most business. Because you can hear Chris riding through the first hood, and he lets the live know that they just hit him up.
Oh, this car coming in hot. Oh, they window let down. This just shot me out. Look, my window, but I hold my car. This just shot me out, y'all.
After getting shot at by some dudes from the first hood, Chris then lets everyone on the live know that dudes from Inslee actually stand on business. He then calls out the next hood and says it's their turn. Show them they're about it too, or better than Inslee.
I don't bleed. I think I'm bleeding. They just shot me out. So, they ain't talking about some. They talking about some over here. They see what they're talking about. They just with me. I don't call police on y'all, bro. Y'all chill. Y'all straight. Y'all ain't got right fast.